Much was made of the fact that she may have gone not through the intersection on the crosswalk, but is that relevant in this case?
Well, I think it's important to note here in the city of Fredericton, a lot of the crosswalks, including the one up there that where the accident happened, they're not actually flush with the curbside to get up. When you go on with a power wheelchair in particular, you have small wheels in the front of your chair, and as you go off the sidewalk down into the pedestrian walk, if there's a bump there, you have to be very careful without being thrown out of your chair, and you have to take your time, and sometimes you don't have enough time to get across the pedestrian crosswalk before the light changes, and it's a real issue in terms of safety here. The other thing that disturbed me a bit about the conversations that were provided by, or some of the information from some of the witnesses, it was indicated by several witnesses that the car was driving at an excessive rate of speed when it went through the intersection and struck Diane Trottier, and the defense attorney was sort of, in my mind, making it seem that it was the victim's fault that she was struck and killed, and in fact he even stated that the driver was not responsible for the fact that this person was killed, but in fact it was the car that struck the wheelchair and the person in it. And under the Motor Vehicle Act, a person in a wheelchair is considered a pedestrian, and irregardless if they were walking or wheeling against the light or slightly off the sidewalk or the pedestrian walkway, the Motor Vehicle Act, gives the right-of-way to the pedestrian, which includes person in a wheelchair. So I'm not trying to parse the fine points of the law here, but I really get angry and frustrated when there's an effort to blame the victim, and especially the person in the wheelchair, that they're somehow at fault for being struck and killed by a speeding motor vehicle. And I hope that, as I've said on other occasions, that drivers in the Fredericton area and elsewhere will take a little more time and be a little more diligent and vigilant as they go through pedestrian crossways, and ensure that they not only not hit another person in a wheelchair or a scooter, but even an able-bodied person or a senior citizen who can't walk quite as fast or jump out of the way when the vehicle comes speeding at them. And this is a real tragedy all around, and I have to say as well, I was discouraged and disappointed and surprised at the quotes from the case law that's been cited here. It seems to me that even if they go for the maximum sentence that's being discussed by the Crown prosecutor and the defense attorney, that there's not going to be very much in terms of consequences for the fact that a young lady in the prime of her life, even though she had a disability, very active, engaged socially as well as a professional and a very high-profile career, is dead. And that's the real tragedy here. So I hope when the time comes for the sentence that there'll be some message sent to the public at large, and especially the people involved in this case who waited months and concealed the crime, that there are consequences, and we should be vigilant to ensure that people understand that there are serious repercussions when you don't